In a unanimous decision today, Australia's highest court overturns Cardinal George Pell's conviction for child sexual abuse. The former Vatican treasurer was released after more than 13 months in prison for 5 alleged counts of sexual abuse. Throughout the entire ordeal, the cardinal maintained his innocence. In a written statement today, Cardinal Pell said in part, "My trial was not a referendum on the Catholic Church, nor a referendum on how church authorities in Australia dealt with the crime of pedophilia in the church. The point was whether I had committed these awful crimes, and I did not." Joining me now by Skype is Edward Condon, D.C. Bureau Chief for Catholic News Agency, as well as a canon lawyer. Ed, thanks for joining us. So great to see you.
Pleasure to be with you.
So, and I know you've been following this case and its appeals. What exactly did the High Court say today in its ruling?
Well, the High Court in Australia returned a ruling that basically affirmed much of the criticism that was present in the dissenting opinion of the Court of Appeal level in Victoria, which is that the jury that convicted Cardinal Pell did so on the testimony of a single witness accuser. There was, in the words of the High Court, no evidence whatsoever supporting his claim that the circumstances, of the alleged offense simply didn't stand up, that the time and place that he was supposed to have committed these acts of sexual abuse seemed wildly improbable, and that there was no corroborating testimony. On the contrary, there was a lot of testimony putting Cardinal Pell elsewhere at the time this was supposed to have happened.
Well, I know Cardinal Pell's conviction divided opinion in Australia as well as internationally. Something he alluded to in his statement saying, quote, "I hold no ill will toward my accuser. I do not want my acquittal to add to the hurt and bitterness so many feel. There is certainly hurt and bitterness enough." What was the reaction? What has it been to his release?
Well, I think the reaction has been divided in Australia. Culturally, Cardinal Pell was and remains somewhat of a divisive figure. But even amongst those who are not naturally sympathetic to him, there has been a growing groundswell of criticism against the jury decision that convicted him in the first place. Even those who perhaps in their heart of hearts would have preferred to see Cardinal Pell remain in prison, I think, are not able to mount much, or at least haven't yet mounted much of a theoretical critique of the legal decision of the High Court here. I think everyone accepts that really this is the right decision for justice.
Ed, what do you think is next for the Cardinal?
Well, I think he's going to be taking some well-deserved time off and readjusting. We had the joy of having the first interview with Cardinal Pell after his release from prison at CNA, and he told us that the first thing he was looking forward to was celebrating his first private mass. He's obviously been unable to celebrate mass while he was in prison for over a year, and that he's very much looking forward to celebrating Easter as a free man. That what he told us was that the Triduum is a special time for every Catholic, and for him it has a special significance this year.
Have you heard anything from the Vatican on this?
Yeah, the Vatican released a statement this morning welcoming the decision, affirming that they had always had confidence in the Australian judicial system, that it would reach the right conclusion, whatever that may have been for the case itself, and expressing solidarity, of course, with victims of sexual abuse everywhere. That this is something that both Cardinal Pell, the Holy See, and the bishops of Australia have been keen to underline, which is the Cardinal Pell case was very much a case about the case against Cardinal Pell, and the decision is about that. But it in no way undermines the Church's commitment, or indeed the sympathy the Church has with victims of sexual abuse, that this remains a very serious issue and one that Church leaders everywhere are committed to address.
Well, Ed, thanks so much for your analysis. We really appreciate it. Edward Condon, D.C. Bureau Chief for Catholic News Agency.
Thanks for having me.